In this section, we're going to look at sort of a basic multiplication review, and it's going to be one digit by, multiplying by one digit. So I'm going to start just by doing the basic algorithm you've probably learned at school. So remembering the steps, we always start on the right side, multiplying the ones column. So I'm going 7 times 0 is 0. Then I'm going to go 7 times 6 is 42. We always put the smaller or the ones digit down, and we carry the tens digit. And then we're going to end with 7 times 3, which is 21, plus the 4 is 25. 25. The little space in here, they're suggesting you should put a comma. If we were doing this on paper, I'd encourage you just to leave a space to indicate that the answer is 2,520. Thinking to myself for a minute, the 7 times about 300, yeah, I think 7 times 300 would be around 2,100. 7 times 400 would be like 2,800, so it makes sense that's in the middle. But now I want you to really understand what we were just doing. We did kind of a shortcut. Really, we did 3 different steps. First, we went 7 times 0 equals 0, and we wrote that down here. Then we said 7 times 6, but really we were doing 7 times 60. Notice the 6 is in the tens column, so that represents 60. 7 times 60 is 420. We only wrote down the 2 because there isn't space for all those digits. We carried the 4 into that hundreds column. We were in the tens column, so we wrote down the 2. The last step we did was 7 times 300. And then, of course, we needed to add, well, up here we added that 400. We've already got that 4 included here. So 7 times 300 is 2,100. These aren't lined up very nicely, so I'm just going to try that lined up better over here. We said 7 times 0 was 0, 7 times 60 was 420, and 7 times 300 was 2,100. Add it all together, 0, 2, 5, 2. Notice the answer is exactly the same. This is what you were doing here, but we did it sort of in a shorthand. Rather than having to actually line them up and add them after, we kind of added it as we went. We put that 4 for the 400 over the hundreds column. It's important to be aware of what you're doing. So in this example, we're doing 337 times 2. I'm going to just use the algorithm again quickly first because I think that's probably what you're more used to and likely what you will go with. 2 times 7 is 14. The ones digit goes down, the 4, and the 1 gets carried. 2 times 3 is 6, plus the 1 is 7, and 2 times 3 is 6. If you wanted, you could do it, and I'm going to actually write it down in a similar way. But we're going to think about it like we did that last one in the different steps. So in this first step, we're doing 2 times 7 is 14, so I'm going to write that there. The next one, we're doing 2 times 30, which is 60, so I'm going to write that underneath. The next one, 2 times 300, which is 600. We're doing the same question. We're going to get the same answer. It's just a different way to do it. 4, 7, 6. The reality is you can choose whichever way you want to. Most kids default to this because it's less writing. And as the digits get bigger, this becomes, it can get messy because there can be more and more digits. But I like this way as well because you see more visually what you're actually doing. Over here, it doesn't really make sense. It's so shorthand. Here you can see we're doing those same steps, but there wasn't room for 14 in this one space, so we carried that 10 or the 1 over. Then that's why instead of having a 6 there, we have a 7 because we'd already added it on. We did the adding all later over on this side. Whichever one you like, but again, eventually this will likely be easier. In this last example, I want to point out that if you see a question like this, you can solve it this way, but it would involve more steps. So my first instinct when I see a question that has 1 digit on the top and 3 on the bottom, if I'm going to use my fast algorithm, is actually to just switch it around. And I am just going to do the quick algorithm for this one. If you want more information about the other way of doing it, the more visual way, come see me and we can look at it more together. So I'm just going to go through this one pretty quick. First step, 0 times 4, or 4 times 0, however you want to say it. 4 times 0 is 0. Then 4 times 8 is 32. 2 down, carry the 3. Be careful. Silly mistake would be someone will put the 3 back there, especially because they're the same. It's both 8s. It can be confusing. Think about which column you're in and where you're carrying the 3 to. And finally, 4 times 8, again, is 32. Plus the 3 is 35. Does that make sense? Let's think about it. 4 times, this is close to 900. 4 times 900 would be about 3,600. Yep, that's close. That makes sense. Okay, that's it for this section. Good luck.